Now, let me ask you to please read. There are a lot of viewers out there who are wondering what's in that book.
Okay.
Okay, can you read for us anywhere you find very interesting?
Okay. I think my letter to President Obama would resonate with
Ah,
Nigerians.
that's I found that very funny.
Yeah, there's a yeah. President Obama's second day anniversary.
Second day.
Yeah, which again you must remember was first written in 2009. So you have to get back into that temporal frame as I read. Somebody does more governing in 2 days than the Nigerian president has done in 2 years? Surely Americans know what to do. So on day 3, I rushed to the nearest newspaper store and bought major American newspapers, USA Today, New York Times, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal. I eagerly flipped to the center spread of each paper. Nothing. What? Are these Americans kidding me? No paid center spread ads congratulating President Obama on the second day anniversary of his spectacular presidency? Are there no state governors in America? No federal ministers, secretaries? No local government chairmen, mayors? No stakeholders? No party chieftains? Well, since Americans won't do it, someone's got to do it. So I took it upon my patriotic self to draft a paid ad just to give President Obama a taste of what he would have seen in national newspapers had Americans done things the Nigerian way. Here is what my center spread ad in New York Times looks like. Hooray, hooray, hooray. 3 hearty cheers to a born achiever, His Excellency Barrister Barack Hussein Obama, the Executive President of the United States of America, Grand Commander of the Order of the Potomac. Dear President Obama, on behalf of myself, my loving wives, my children, and the people of the state of New Jersey, accept our heartfelt celebration of your phenomenal achievements on this wonderful second day anniversary of your assumption of office. Your exemplary leadership and outstanding achievements in the last 2 days are indeed a confirmation of the nationally held view that you have been divinely anointed to steer the ship of state and move the U.S. forward at this crucial stage of our national life. By the same token, we respectfully extend our greetings and fellowship to our loving mother of the nation, Her Excellency Barrister Mrs. Michelle Obama, for the successful launching of our pet project, the Rural Woman Rocks. I hereby announce a token donation of $3 million to Her Excellency's project on behalf of the state of New Jersey with immediate effect. We look forward to your first familiarization tour of our beautiful state. Long live Your Excellency. Long live the state of New Jersey. Long live the United States of America. Hip, 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 hooray. Signed, His Excellency Architect Dr. XYZ, the Executive Governor, State of New Jersey. Here's the context. I wrote it on the second day after his inauguration. So that was back in January 2009. My recollection is correct. And here are my 2 days of activities, intense activities after inauguration in 2009. You know, he'd done this, he'd signed executive. What, incidentally, we thought President Buhari would do after May 29, hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. You know, so the first 2 days of Obama's presidency in 2009, was the very quintessence or the epitome, if you want, of hitting the ground running. And so that got me thinking about Nigeria. If you are in political office in Nigeria and you've achieved this much, so we celebrate anniversaries of mediocrity. Somebody spends 100 days in office and you litter the newspapers, center spreads, Your Excellency, you have done this. I said, okay, there's a good subject for satire here, after Obama has done in 2 days much more than many of these Nigerian guys would do in a 4-year term. And then we celebrate them every year and stuff like that. So that's the context for President Obama's second day anniversary.
Every president we've had since the Fourth Republic has had a bit of your. I mean, you've taken on every president we've had in the Fourth Republic. I've not seen any piece on the current president. Does that mean?
Oh, I've done a lot on him.
You have?
It just hasn't. In fact, my honeymoon with, of course, I know what you're getting at. I was one of his, big social media, on social media, I supported his candidacy and supported the whole change. Jonathan had to go. That there was no, and the PDP had to go, for obvious reasons. And I was into the integrity narrative of the president, which I still believe in. But part of what I've been trying to teach my followers, because there's a lot of civics, as you in this, is that followership must be critical and it must be intelligent. You're right to criticize your president. It's the most fundamental right of and to a great extent they make the demons. They make them by worshiping hero worship. And so it wasn't long before I started because I didn't buy, quite frankly, excuse the language, the nonsense about all the rationalizations they were giving about not naming ministers and not forming a cabinet. It didn't work with me. So by June, it was sworn in May, right?
Yes.
By June, I was already very active in social media, grumbling and complaining and saying and puncturing all the rationalizations. They were. It's just that sometimes my commentary, when I issue a statement or I write and all that, it circulates for months on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, before it gets out into the wider public. So that's why sometimes the wider public wouldn't even know that I've been very critical of the president. And some of the things I've written about, in terms of, I hope for your own sake, that you'd come up eventually with a list of angels. Don't keep us waiting and waste our time, and then submit a list littered figuratively with the usual suspects. Isn't that what he has done now? It's the usual suspects. So why waste it? If Fashola is going to be on the list and all these other names that we are seeing, why have you been wasting our time since May?
Now, in every piece, you took on personalities and figures that we know in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You named names.
Yeah.
That in itself is the very nature of satire.
Yeah.
You name names from former President Obasanjo, former
Yaradua,
Jonathan,
ministers, governors,
Mojomadweke. I can go on and on, some of the figures that we all know in Nigeria. The natural consequence of that, I thought before I read your book, would be very vicious attacks and criticisms of yourself. Yeah. And so you wrote that here, that many of the essays in this collection went viral, and the consequent attacks and threats against me have been vicious. Yeah. Can you say something about that?
Let me give you a specific example of some of the consequences I've had to deal with in terms of attacks. And my family has a very, very long history of association and I would even say familyhood, if I could use that word, with John Cardinal Onayika in Abuja. Because the young Reverend Father Onayika, when he was newly ordained, and his first mission was actually in my hometown. We are both Okun people. He's from Kaba, and I'm from Isolu in Kogi State. And he went to work at St. Kizito's College as a teacher after his ordination. He went to work in 1971 or thereabouts, in the 70s anyway. Guess who was his principal?
Who?
My father.
Your father.
My father was his principal. And then my parents were one of the pillars of the Catholic community in Lokoja Diocese, where he comes from. So, I mean, it's a very, very long history. He's like a father to me. So it's unthinkable that I would attack John Cardinal. It can't happen. It really can't happen. But then there was a time he had spoken truth to power under President Yaradua. Some kind of national statement he made, which the villa wasn't very comfortable about. So I decided to do a piece, a satirical piece on him, condemning Bishop Bonayekon, the then Bishop Bonayekon, for disrespecting our presidency by saying this and saying that. Who are you to, What I thought would be extremely obvious, that this was a piece in support of the Archbishop. Oh my
Was misinterpreted wrongly.
Was read literally. Who is this guy? Who is this? And then the attacks. In fact, the Cardinal's younger brother, Patrick Onayeka, he's in London. He had to be making frantic appeals. Please, Nigerians, what is wrong with you? Read. Read this. And then a reverend father took it upon himself to write a rejoinder, a vitriolic op-ed in a national newspaper. The attack was vicious.
Pius, always nice to have you on the Channels Book Club.
Always a pleasure to be
joining
with you
us.
guys. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you very much.